show you guys why it works. Okay? So this is, is it Adams Bookstore? No, not Adams. What's the other one right up at the top of the hill? Not the main one by the university, right across from the old law school building. South Carolina Bookstore. Okay?
One by FedEx?
Yeah, by FedEx, yeah, on that, right by there. Okay? So if you're standing there and looking in, this is a picture from a few years ago, right? Now, does it look anything like that? If you're standing at that corner and looking at, this was the old law school building. What's there now?
Parking lot.
Parking lot. So let's get rid of that parking lot because we don't need parking. Clearly, we don't need parking on campus. We have too much of it already, right? So we're going to take that out, make more green space, right? It's a little sidebar there. But this picture is that looking in there, okay? And that is a picture of the law school building. Does the law school building look anything like that? Is it starting to look a little bit like that? It's getting there, okay? But it's not going to be this extreme. So does anybody know what these pictures are from? 5 years ago, the dean of our college cut a deal with the administration, and we, our college, was supposed to move into the old law school. So the law school got shut down, right? They built that beautiful new building. Has anybody toured that thing yet? If you have not, before you leave campus, make sure you do. It is exceptional, right? Just take 30 minutes and walk through it one day. So the law school moved over there, so this building is empty. So we had a deal to do this, to take this building over. So in order to do it though, anybody know what it would have cost to make it look like that?
89 million.
That's actually a pretty good guess. Between 60 and 70 million dollars. The university had $30 million put away in a fund because there's a lot of asbestos in that building. So they had to get rid of the asbestos. So they put away $30 million, part of the building fund, part of your money and the taxpayer money that you mentioned, right? And they're going to rebuild this, okay? Why did the dean put this out? What was he looking for?
Reaction.
Reaction? Absolutely. What kind of reaction was he really hoping for?
Donations.
Donation. He's hoping to find another Darla Moore, right? Or McNair for the McNair Scholars or whatever. Somebody like that who's going to give a lot of money. So you do this in big time projects to try and get attention if it's tourism, and to try and raise money if it's this kind of project, okay? So the rest of this looks like this. This part is actually being renovated, right? That's between the two buildings. They were going to take this, gut it all the way down. So you know where the construction is? It's becoming glass now. Has anybody walked through there lately? That's that part. Obviously, they're not going to clear it out quite as far as he had projected on here. Right? And then this was going to be the inside lobby. Has anybody been in that? You guys old enough to have been around to go in that old law school? Right? It's got those really low ceilings, really old feeling, not a very comfortable environment. But because of the depth of the asbestos removal that they had to do, they planned to open it up, make it 3 stories, look a little bit like Darla Moore on the inside, right? A lot of walking area, lots of natural light. And then the original proposal had a retail shop on the outside so that the retail department would have an operation similar to what we have at McCutcheon. All right? And then the teaching labs were going to be there and look like that. And then they were going to build in some classrooms. Actually, that looks a lot like Darla Moore right there. And you can see that classroom looks a lot like the one we're in right now, right? I mean, it's just exact duplicate, nice and clean like that, right? So that was the plan, okay? In order to do this, we had an agreement, our dean had an agreement with the university, we would have to raise $30 million. And then the university would contribute the rest. okay? How much did we raise? Anybody know?
Third of that,
About 10% of that, about $3 million. So we didn't meet the deadline. So the engineering school is now rebuilding that to do labs in it, okay? So they said to the engineering school, well, you need to, I don't know if this is really true, but I believe that there is definitely some truth to it. They said, well, you have to raise $30 million to do this project. They're like, no, we don't. We got $30 million sitting in an account. We could do this tomorrow. And they did. So that is being built out to be some additional lab space and some building space for the engineering school because they're short on space. All right. So where are we going? We're leaving this building supposedly in December. Close Hip, which is what? What was Close Hip?
The old business school.
The old business school, okay? So, it was intended originally when the business department moved next door to Darla Moore, Close Hip was going to go to the National Advocacy Center, that building that's right next door to Close Hip, right, which is the Federal Judicial Training Center. It's a 300-room hotel, actually. I don't know if or conference center, excuse me, is a better description. It's a conference center. And it's the main training center for the entire United States for all district attorneys and some other judicial training parts, okay? So they took the building, they had it for 2 years, then the federal government cut their budget, so they said, no, we can't take it, and they paid the university $20 million to get out of the deal, and now we're using that $20 million to rebuild Close Hip, okay? So these plans are done with an object in mind, trying to raise money, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys know this or have seen this, but these labs are actually a real thing. We're going to have labs that look a lot like this starting in December that are in conjunction with McCutcheon. It's called the Marriott Food Lab, and Marriott donated $2.5 million to do this. It's almost done, so if you stand looking at Close Hip with College Street behind you, the Close building, I believe, is the big one in the front, and then the Hip building is the kind of off back to the right a little bit. Underneath there on the ground floor are these labs. They are just about finished. They look absolutely spectacular, and they'll be fully glassed around. So now when you're doing the cooking classes for $270, and I don't know how that's all going to work with McCutcheon, they're still trying to figure that out. People will be able to watch from the outside to see what you're doing inside there. Okay? Yes?
For that class, I was told that like for $270, usually like make the restaurant for the food and send it upstairs. I was told now that the $370 kids are gonna have to make the food and then send it up and work with it then. So they're just gonna have to do more work.
So you're gonna, well, or you're gonna have to have more students, one or the other.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So what they may do then, I don't know if that's if this is the plan. I haven't been involved in that at all, but it makes sense. Shorten the amount of days that you have the class, put more students in each class, and then you can do that, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, but this is almost ready. So we are supposed to move to the Close Hip building in December. I toured it 3 weeks ago. I have some serious doubts that it's going to be ready. We were originally supposed to move in August. Some of you may have seen your original class schedules had this class in Close Hip, and then they had to move us back at the last minute because they realized it wasn't ready. They had to get the sprinkler systems weren't finished and things like that. Okay, so that's part of why you do this. So you're trying to raise money. You're trying to draw attention to this. Okay. So now, let's get back to what we're doing. So what's that? When you guys came in today, did it look anything like that? Not even close, right? So what's that picture?
Happiness.
Happiness. That would be happiness, right? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? What is that picture from?
Is that from recently? Are they going to turn they're turning that in?
That is the plan of what they're going to do to this building, that comes from the student newspaper. Okay, this was January 16, 2018. That's that picture. So the university wants to transform this building into a student union, okay? Bring all of the facilities on campus, right, now like registrar, bursar's office, all those different places you gotta go are spread throughout campus. They want to bring them all here into this one building. It's actually a great idea. So the original, in order to tear this building down, they actually looked at that. $45 million to tear the building down because of the way it was constructed. Okay? So they thought, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So they floated this out and said, we want to do this, and this included on the inside where the basketball arena used to be, they were going to open that up and make it a courtyard. $180 million. They put it in the, ran it in the state newspaper, said they wanted taxpayer money, and what did the government say?
No.
Hell no. Exactly right. So we went back, the university did, and rebooted. So now they've altered it a little bit. They still want to make it a one-stop shop for students. 100,000 square foot of classroom space and lab, student union, and put in basketball practice courts, and they've lowered it to $125 million. Has anybody walked to see, you know where it used to be the elephant room? You guys remember that? Any of you do your commencements in there? No, you guys are getting, yeah. I'm aging myself as everything gets older around here, right? But the new basketball office is underneath, and the practice facilities are really, really extraordinary what they've done down there. It's really an amazing facility. Athletics paid for all of that. But now they need another $125 million to do the rest of this to make it look like that and make it a student union. So they put this out with the hope that somebody's going to give the money so that they can build that. All right, and that would be, that renovation would be about $12 or $13 million more than it cost to build the Darla Morning School. Okay, so all of this is done for a reason.